What's up, everyone? We've got breaking news today that I need to get on your radar immediately. On top of that, I want to walk you through what's coming this week in the markets. But most importantly, in this video, we're going to zero in on the real driver behind XRP's next big move upward. And that comes down to utility, real-world use cases, and what's about to unfold in the global payments landscape. If you love talking XRP, hit that like button, drop an X in the comments, and let's dive in. I hope you all enjoyed your Labor Day weekend, because this week is already heating up. Now, before I get into the big developments, I have to address the wave of misinformation and FUD floating around lately. A lot of hate has been aimed at the XRP community. But here's the truth. The XRP Army is still one of the strongest communities in all of crypto. Maybe not the biggest, because Bitcoin maxis are everywhere, but certainly one of the most resilient and united. And, honestly, that level of hate and jealousy from outsiders only proves how much of a threat XRP is becoming to the old system. Today, we had fresh reports that Michael Saylor dropped another $444 million into Bitcoin. That's $500 million on the so-called store of value play. Fine, he can keep stacking BTC. But here's the difference. While Bitcoin just sits as a store of value, XRP brings both value and utility. Institutions clearly see it, too, with the ETF filings and products being built. And personally, I'd rather be invested in the crypto that's actually getting used in payments, trade, and finance. That's where the real growth story is. And speaking of markets, Jim Cramer's already out saying September is usually weak. And look, history shows that betting against Cramer works about 90% of the time. So if he's bearish, you already know what might happen. This week will definitely be volatile. Expect choppy moves up and down. We've got big data releases coming, jobs reports, openings, ADP, PCE inflation, all of which are going to play into Fed decisions on rates. I'll break down those numbers for you as they drop. Also, President Trump is scheduled to speak today at 2 p.m. Eastern. Now, I don't expect anything specifically crypto-related, but anything from the Oval Office that touches on finance or the economy could move markets. If something important comes out, you'll hear about it here first. Now let's talk XRP flows. Credit to Chad Steinrober for tracking this. After 6 straight days of net outflows, XRP finally flipped green with nearly 2 million in net inflows. That one green candle on the chart shows how quickly momentum can swing. In a market this size, it doesn't take much to send prices rocketing higher, especially with XRP's relatively smaller market cap compared to BTC or ETH. But here's where things get really exciting. A community member in our Telegram link below, if you want to join us, shared an update on one of Ripple's most powerful partnerships. Finastra, a longtime Ripple partner and one of the Fed's biggest payment service providers, has now expanded its collaboration with Ripple and Thunes, a global payments infrastructure provider. This partnership now extends RippleNet corridors into 125 countries, with access to over 3 billion users, both banked and unbanked. That means Ripple's on-demand liquidity is connecting directly with banks, mobile wallets, and alternative payment methods across Africa, Southeast Asia, and Latin America, precisely the regions where SWIFT struggles to operate. RippleNet is literally fusing institutional payment rails with last-mile connectivity. SWIFT can either adapt or be bypassed. And I'll say this, I still believe Ripple becoming a bank is on the horizon. Maybe even before the year ends. Once that Fed master account is locked in, the game changes permanently. At that point, traditional finance will either plug into Ripple's system or risk getting left behind. We're also seeing more heavyweights turning toward Ripple. Even Charles Hoskinson of Cardano is now signaling collaboration. More and more projects are realizing that Ripple's tech and the XRPL are too powerful to ignore. This is about building a global multi-chain future where XRP is at the center of payments. Looking ahead to this week, again, it's going to be volatile. Economic reports will drive Fed sentiment, which drives market sentiment. But the bigger picture is clear. Whole regions of the world don't just want to use XRP, they need to. Swift simply can't reach them. Ripple can, and is. Remember, Ripple already has 300 banking partnerships worldwide. Add in these new corridors, and we're looking at billions of users who will move money through RippleNet, powered by XRP Liquidity. This is the upgrade the global economy has been waiting for, and that's why XRP is so far ahead of the pack. This is also why so many try to discredit it. They see where this is going. XRP is positioned not just to rise in price, but to eventually take the #1 spot in crypto. Think about it. If Bitcoin sits at today's price with no utility, and Ethereum sits at its price with limited utility, what happens when XRP starts running the world's payment rails? The flippening isn't just possible, it's inevitable. Ripple, Gion. Finastra, Gion. Thunes isn't about a few million people coming on-chain. This is about billions of transactions, billions of users, and real-world value moving at lightning speed. That's the scale we're talking about. That's why XRP isn't just another crypto, it's the winner of this market. So as always, let me know what you think in the comments. Appreciate the support, XRP Army. Stay strong, stay focused, and stay ready.